Okay, let's start with side squats. Option 1, if you are quite tight with your hamstrings and your hips, you can keep this nice and high. We just want to get some movement into those joints. Option 2, if you're a little bit more open, come down all the way to the floor, hands down, or you can put them on top of blocks or on top of a stool maybe, or some books. Option 3 now, a little bit more movement, coming up and down all the way to the floor, hands off. Option 4, again side squats. This time we're not stopping in the middle, you're going from one side to the other in a nice fluid movement. Try and work 5 to 10 times each side. We're going into Malasana or garland pose or yogi squat, whatever you like to call it. Heels on the floor, elbows on the inside of your knees. You're going to push your knees against your elbows and your elbows against your knees. You want to make it nice and active. You want to keep those joints moving and you want to keep your spine nice and straight 5 to 10 times. Then your hands can come down. You want to try and get your shoulders on the inside of your knees and you want to lift your hips up to make that forward fold a bit deeper, again 5 to 10 times. Now if you find that your heels do keep coming up, it's better that you sit on something. So here's a modification. Grab yourself some blocks or a low stool or some books to sit on so that you can keep your spine nice and long, and you're going to do the same thing, making it an active motion, pushing your elbows against your knees. Then you want to reach forward a couple of times to deepen that stretch, again nice and long with your spine. Keep your heels on the floor 5 to 10 times. Maybe hold yourself in that last stretch position for a few seconds too. Let's look at lunges. That's pretty self-explanatory what I'm showing you here. Again, I'd recommend at least 5 to 10 times on each side. But if you do want to add a hamstring stretch, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and here's how you do it. Keep the heel of your front foot down, lift your toes as you come back. But we are not doing this. Now watch the shape of my spine as I come back. A lot of people try and curve their spine to make it a little bit easier to get their head closer to their knee, but then we lose the point of the movement. We want to keep our spine nice and long. Your movement comes from hinging at the hip. So my spine remains nice and long and nice and straight. We're hitting the hamstring at the front leg here. Now if you're still quite tight there, you can grab some blocks or some books or low stools and try it this way. Keep your eyes forward. That'll help you remember to lengthen your spine as you go back. And keeping that front heel grounded means you get a deeper hamstring stretch. In this next one, you want to keep one leg straight and bring the other heel to the groin, and then you want to use your hands to turn yourself to face forward, keeping the top of the back knee on the floor, and then back to center, and then again to the side, and then back to the center. And when that's nice and comfortable, do the same thing but without your hands this time, trying to make your hips nice and active. Top of the back knee on the floor. Now if you're finding your hips a bit stiff to access that posture, here is a modified version. Grab yourself a bolster, a pillow or cushion and do the same thing. Just elevate your hips off the ground so there's a little bit more room for movement. Same thing, use your hands 5 to 10 times each side. And again, if you're ready, you can take your hands off. Well, I don't have a good name for this next one, so just lie yourself face down on the floor and you're going to bring your knee up towards your ribs and you're keeping your torso nice and neutral and still. And notice that hip doesn't lift off the ground, and you want to do this 5 to 10 times each side. If that's stiff for you to access, here's a modification. Grab yourself a bolster, a pillow or some cushions to elevate your torso away from the floor so that the angle between your hip and the floor is less extreme. Okay, last one here. Starting off in the same way, lying face down, you're going to bring your knee up to the side 90 degrees. Keep your knee on the floor and lift your foot off. We're keeping our hip and our knee on the floor 5 to 10 times each side. Now you guessed it, if you need a modification and it's a little bit stiff for you, grab yourself a pillow, a cushion, a bolster, whatever you need to put under your torso so that it's a less extreme angle between your hip and the floor. Do this 5 to 10 times each side, and I hope this helps. Let me know how you get on.